Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin if you guys are new around here, and I blog over at the Simply Organized Home. And today I'm going to give you guys a peek inside the brand new 2023 digital budget template. This is a budget template that uses the by Paycheck method, and it functions on Google Sheets. So if you guys are interested in learning more about this template and how you can get it for yourself, I will leave links to it down below. But let's jump in and just kind of take a peek inside to kind of see how it functions and see if it would be something that would function for your family. Okay, I'm going to start by showing you just an overview. This is what should pop up once you follow the steps to see the pay period budget. Now, you will not have access to make changes on this template. So you'll need to come up here and go to File, and you'll need to hit Make a Copy. Once you make a copy, you'll be able to give your template a specific name, and then you can function and work your budget on that template. You might choose up here to type in the dates that you get paid. So maybe you get paid January 1st, and then January 14th, and then January 28th, and then so on. So there's 26 pay period lines through the top. So if you get paid every other week, then you would need to use one budget for the whole year. If you get paid every week, then you would need to do two of these. So when you get done with one, you're just going to go back up here, come back to this file, come back to this link, make another copy, and do another one for the second half of the year. So this is set up very similar to last year, but there are definitely some changes and upgrades. And you'll find 10 different income sections. So that is very helpful if you have multiple income streams. Up here, before you even get started on your January 1st, you're going to type in whatever your checking account balance is right now. So if you don't know the answer to that, then you're going to need to go and do some calculations. You're going to need to reconcile some bills and some maybe possibly some checks. But that's the first step to setting up this budget, is to reconcile your checking account balance. So let's just kind of throw a number out here. And let's say that's the number that we're starting with. You'll see that all of these dark gray boxes are formulas. You don't want to touch those. However, if for some reason you go in and you click and you type something, all you need to do is go back up here and click undo. And everything is as it was. So don't be afraid. They're not locked, just so that if you need to make adjustments, you can. However, you can always go back up there and just hit undo. As you're working your budget, you're just going to start adding in your income. And you're going to get a total down here. Right here it says total net income. So this is how much you made this pay period. But this next total is the important one. This is what you should find in your checking account, okay? And then as you go, you're going to start subtracting, and you're going to start putting numbers into all of these different categories. And as you'll see, all of these things start to calculate for you. What's really cool about this is that it has a due date. So if you, let's say you have a retirement savings, but let's say it's a Roth IRA, and let's say it comes out every single month on the 10th. So you know that on the 10th, you need to pay that bill. So right here, January 1st and January 14th, you know that your January 1st pay period is going to have to cover that bill. So as you get down here to expenses, you can plug in the dates of when things are due. And all of a sudden, you'll start to kind of see, oh, okay, I'm getting this. I understand, when I need to pay these things. Your mortgage, you probably paid that your last pay period, but your cell phone, you're definitely going to have to pay this month or this paycheck. Your car payment won't actually come out until the next pay period. Okay, so do you see how that starts to work? And so you can really go ahead and fill out an entire year's worth of your budget or 6 months worth of your budget if you really want to. I would recommend maybe just starting with the first couple of months, maybe do 4 to 6 pay periods and kind of get a feel for how that's working, especially if you know exactly what you're going to make each pay period. Now, something else that we have changed this year, one of the changes is that if you scroll all the way over here, you can see the percentages. So you can see where your income is coming from, percentage-wise. You can see how much you're spending in different categories, how much of your income is going towards, tithing, towards retirement, how much of your income is going towards your mortgage or your utility bills, your groceries. All of this is going to give you a percentage, which is very, very helpful. So at the end of that pay period, you're going to scroll all the way down through here, and you're going to type in maybe money that you might take out for spending, money that you might use to go out to eat. All of this is going to be calculated, and you're going to have it written down on your budget. So at the end of that pay period, you will have a number, and this number right here is what is left in your checking account at the end of that pay period. And that should be the number that rolls over to the next pay period. So January 14th, you'll get paid again. And then you'll start working your budget the same way, right down the column, and until you get down here to the bottom. Now, what is so awesome about this is you can kind of see that maybe you have an idea of what you want to keep your checking account balance at. Obviously right here, $458, $508, somewhere around the $500 mark might be an ideal place for you. You might find that you can go down to $100. You might find that you want $1,000. This is really up to you as to what you want your kind of cushion or buffer to be in your checking account balance. So now let's run down here to the spending trackers. Up here you saw that I have like groceries and gas, and then in personal, there's spending and clothing. Most of these are going to be things that you're going to take money out from your account. It's going to be more than one transaction. So you might need to allot $200. That might be your budget for gasoline. And you go and spend money at, say, Sam's Club gas, and you spend $75. Then you need to track that spending because you're not going to just probably fill your tank up once. These spending trackers are here for you to use on things that you're going to need to kind of keep track of all of the different transactions. Sometimes those can get super frustrating if we're trying to do that within our checking account online. But if you do it right here, then you can know that if I have $300 in groceries and I go to Walmart and I spend $100, then I have $200 left, and it tells you how much you have left. And then once you get down to zero, then you stop spending. So there's I think 10 or 12 trackers down here for you. So you can use these for any of the different categories that you might find that you need to track your spending on. This year, you will also see that there are actually 4 different tabs down here at the bottom. The first tab is your main budget, which is what we're working from right now. The second tab is your sinking funds. So you're going to go back over here to your sinking funds, and you're going to say your savings, right? And you're going to say, well, which one of these are going to be sinking funds? You might have a sinking fund for property taxes. You might have a sinking fund for Christmas, for vacation and car maintenance. This is a gray column, this dark gray column. This dark gray column, do not touch. This is just here so that you don't have to scroll all the way over here to see your total. So this just gives you an at a glance look to see what's in each sinking fund. This one is where you're going to put how much you have in there right now. So if you're starting your budget fresh and you don't have any money in any of your sinking funds and you've not saved specifically for different things, then you're probably going to have zero. But let's say that you've already been saving for property taxes and you already have $1,000 in there. Let's say you have $0 in Christmas because it's January and the year is starting over. Let's say in vacation you have $900, and then in car maintenance you have $215. So each time that you add money to this, you're going to put that under the additions section. So if it's January and you're going to add $250 to your property taxes, then that's going to calculate here at what your current balance is. And then if you come over here to February and you do the same thing, and then March and you do the same thing, see how it auto-populates right here for you so you know how much you have in each account at any given time. But what's awesome about this is if you decide to put $100 into your account, let's say for Christmas, and by March you're already starting to think about, oh, I found something for Christmas that I want to buy, and you buy something, let's say for $25.67, then that's going to calculate that subtraction too. So you're just going to put that in the subtraction column, and then you're going to have that number, that total right here. I would recommend, depending on what kind of sinking fund it is, that you either keep this in a separate savings or a separate checking. For us, we have a separate savings just specifically for our property taxes and our insurance for our home. But for these things right here, like car maintenance, Christmas, vacation, we keep those in a separate checking account so that we can easily use a debit card if we need to, for if we have to go get an oil change or if we find a Christmas present, then we can keep all of that money. But I can kind of separate that money out by looking here at these numbers and know that, okay, 900 of that is for vacation and 250 of that is for car maintenance, because sometimes we can look in a checking account and see, $1,500 and think, oh, we're rich, we can just go spend on whatever, but that money is already pre-allocated for something specific. So that's how you're going to use this sinking fund tracker. So you're going to use this savings to decide how much from your pay period is going into that account, and then you're going to track those accounts using this sinking fund tracker. Now, going to the third one, this is your debt payoff. So if you are in debt and you're trying to pay off your debt, then this is going to be something that you're going to use. You can come up here and you can adjust the names of your debt. So maybe you have a car loan, maybe you have a student loan, and maybe you have a credit card. I would recommend going in order from least to greatest. So if your starting balance on this is $1,200, let's see, you owe $2,500 on your student loan and you owe $3,000 on a credit card. Then you can see that every time this is going to auto-populate. Don't touch these gray boxes. The principal balance or the principal payment is how much you're paying on the principal. This is not what your actual payment is, because you're going to be paying interest. So each month when you make your payment, go into your statement to see how much of that payment went towards your principal. So if you make a $300 car payment, probably only $250 of it is going to principal, or you just have to look that up. So each time that you pay something down, then it will zero out, and then you can move on to the next one. And then you can kind of start to see that snowball effect that Dave Ramsey talks about as things start to kind of go away and you're starting to get rid of your debt. So that's what this is for. And you can get those numbers. You would probably plug, more than likely, your debt into your expenses category. This net worth is a brand new form this year. So you may want to calculate your net worth every month, but you might only want to do this a couple times a year, and that's totally fine. So what you're going to do is you're going to calculate, how much do I have in my savings accounts? How much do I have in my checking? How much do I have in retirement and your home value? So then you're going to put your liabilities next. So if I have $10,000 in savings and $2,000 in checking and $50,000 in a Roth IRA and $100,000 in a pension, and my house is worth $300,000. These are just estimates, you guys, not real numbers. But my liabilities, let's say my mortgage, I owe $200,000 and I have a $15,000 car loan. Then you can see your assets are this much, your liabilities are this much, so then your net worth is right down here. So this is how much you own of the things that you have. This is what you own. So then as you start to track this, if you come over here and you're working on paying down some debt and building up your savings, you might track it again in June. So then all of a sudden you can see that the net worth went up from $247,000 to $274,000. So just tracking it every so often. This is something that if you really want to do it every month, there is room and space for you to do that. But if you just want to track it once or twice a year, just to kind of give yourself an idea of where you're at as far as your net worth, to make sure that you're making strides in the right direction, then this is here for you. I hope that you guys found this video helpful, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to just leave a comment down below. I would also recommend going back and watching my video from last year. This is set up in a very similar fashion. It just has a few additions and just kind of some alterations to make it that much better. Well, I hope that you guys found this video helpful. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave a comment down below, or I will leave my email linked in the description box so that you guys can just shoot me an email with any questions that you might have. Well, that's all for me today. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.